Welcome to Game Soup. It's a game design podcast where we usually throw things in a pot and see what's cooking. But today we're just talking about UKGE. How was your UKGE, Kayla?
It was good. I've been saying to people that it was my sort of best UKG personally. Both like just on a raw money level. It's definitely like the most I've made from the con ever. But also because I went in with the power chair, it was definitely the best I sort of managed my energy. And I think some of that probably then fed into why it was like my best con sales wise. So I enjoyed it. The best seller I had was the Gallant and the Virtuous, which I completely sold out of. And
Nice.
I'm still tired today, which is why this one's gonna probably be a bit of a mini episode. But like, I'm definitely nowhere near as tired or feeling as like damaged as I was, say, compared to last year or any of the years before I've worked the con.
Yeah.
How was yours?
It was good. Like yourself, it was our most successful con we've ever had. Compared to the last two cons, it blew them out of the water entirely. So I don't know if that's just UKGE being a lot better or those sucking, but
I mean, I guess you've got
um,
like, because before last year, your previous points of comparisons were in like a group setting.
yeah, I mean, previously we, like at Dragon Meet, we would make about 400 quid with the Indie League. Um, and I don't believe we've done Dragon Meet like solo, but like we would normally make about 300, 400 quid odd with the Indie League, and it was nice to be able to share the responsibility with other people, but I much prefer like doing it with just me and Lissa on the store, and like we make a lot more money, and it's like you're able to be more personable about your products because you know them much more intimately.
Yeah, I think like it's definitely a thing of like the sort of group thing is good when it's good to both like have other people around to like lean on as support, but also if you want to give more of a focus to your own stuff, like at some point you do need to have like your own things. Obviously, they're still split with
Yeah,
Laurie, but that at this point feels different.
yeah. I mean, like you know all of Laurie's games inside and out anyway, so
Yeah, and we it looks sort of broadly like half and half, but also like no. So and we redistribute our costs, so it's like whenever we break even, we've ultimately like broke even the same way.
yeah.
The rough like sort of percentage profits works the same way. So that was good. And then like, what did you have like? What were your big differences from last year that you think made it go better for you?
So we had some new furniture on the stall. So we had our little tournament arc shelf thing that we got that we've had since Scotland actually, but this is at its first like debut at UKGE, and it felt it always feels nice to have a little pop of colour on the stall, but I'm not sure how necessary it is. Like I don't know, but like we the tournament arc stuff was always a good eye catcher, and I think our banner that was very clear like we are selling games, not comics, like because we had an issue with that at Aircon.
Uh,
Having that hurdle jumped for us was able to like just get us straight into pitching rather than like, oh yeah, no, it's games, it's not comics. Oh, okay, sorry. Um, yeah, and just all of our stuff went over pretty well. Like people were interested in what is happening with Bitter Cold, and Goblin Country is always a pretty good seller. Like that was our biggest seller this show. We sold quite a few more copies than we expected, and we ran out of the expansions for Tournament Arc. So I don't know. It was more zine focused, but I mean, that's most of our stuff. So can't complain.
that's cool though. I saw when I drove by your people being really interested. I think they bought almost. I think it was a group of customers who brought like virtually everything, maybe.
It's a
Um,
good issue to have.
yeah, I had a deal on for that for all four paperbacks of mine. I don't know if anyone took me up on that deal. I sold a lot of. I did a two paperbacks of 35.99, which I sold a lot of. which I think actually every time. No, maybe not every time. I think most times. I think all 4 times that had the Gallant and the Virtuous in it, and I think like 3 out of 4 it was also I'm with the Damned, but I think one of them might have also been Out of the Fold. This is me sort of going off like a loose memory. I think our stall looked a bit more colourful than last year. Like, we've always had that zine shelf that we painted pink.
Yeah.
But the banner...
I do like your little zine shelf, and you had the little round table with Full Send on it. That was quite a nice little showcase.
Yeah, we had like a mildly bigger space, which we used, got some extra tables with, which were mainly just like letting people come into us a bit. But
yeah, we did that too.
Also, yeah, like then there's the small table, there's a spotlight, and then I had brought all 4 paperbacks and 2 zines, Nemesis Retribution and Ballad of the Bastard and the Tinkerer, and then as a snap decision on the day of setup, I decided to just have the zines under the shelf. Like I did end up selling 2 Nemesis Retributions to people. One because I like typecast them based on their t-shirt, and another because I couldn't break cash one morning, and they were like, "That's fine, we'll just pay 30 for an order that was realistically only 30." No, they were going to pay me 40 quid for something that was actually only £32, and because I felt bad about that, I gave them a Nemesis Retribution for free from under the table. But otherwise, I just focused all on the 4 paperbacks, because I think for someone who... all of my stuff is really different from each other. None of it is in lines with each other. And I also do tend to like people ask me, tell me about everything, and I will. So that only being 4 things, not 6, was probably good for them and me.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like, we would have people who would come up and be like, "Oh, so tell me what you got going on here," and I'm like, "Well, we've got like 7 different genres happening here, so feel free to look at our little menu that tells you everything, and then I'll talk about the thing that seems interesting to you."
Yeah.
Rather than me spieling for 10 minutes and maybe you only care about 1 minute. So...
yeah, I think for me, probably what it means I'll do is I'm going to be sort of cycling things as they run out of print, which I've already been softly doing anyway.
Yeah.
But I think it means I sort of see the number at the moment as I'm like, oh, I think 4 is a good number. I think 6 is tricky. I think 5 I think 5 or 6 is fine if I am by myself at a con versus then maybe not still, because it's still me doing that pitch. I still think that thing, because often I would then say, when I'd pitch my 4 things, and then I would point to Def Game, Hieronymus, and Full Send, and say that Laurie could explain them more, because usually he was there. And if they went to that way, they'd do that, as well as also pointing to zines. I knew the pitches for Def Game, Full Send, and Hieronymus if people were coming in and asking me for like specific recommendations, or picked up one of those as specific books, I could give them that pitch. But like, yeah, so maybe me having actually just, maybe, I don't know, in my mind I'm like, maybe the good number is 4, because like I cycled out Swamp Creature when I printed Psycho Dungeon. Psycho Dungeon is now down to like 9 copies. And we talked about it a bit before, about whether I wanted to do a new expansion for it. And after the con, I actually got some ideas I like, so I think I will work on that. But I think that means first I'm going to let this current print run of Psycho Dungeon be the last, because I'm going to be working on like this monster anthology. So I'd want to sort of, be dropping something to bring that in. Maybe I drop another one of like the anthologies, like Out of the Fold, depending on, because I have about 45 of that left. So maybe if I was selling that on to distributors, I might remove it from my stock rotation. I'll those are things for me.
Stuff to workshop.
Yeah, thinking about in like a sort of longevity way, because I think this con, it was the first one in a while where I've got back. I'd say the first big one. I really enjoyed Dragon Meet CTA.
Yeah.
But like a first con that involved like traveling out and multiple days we're going from I'm still like, yeah, I enjoy this and look forward to the next time I'm doing.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like the Thursday night, I'm always like, I'm not sure about this. But then Friday morning through to the Sunday evening, I'm like, yes, this is great. I love conventions. But then for conventions, I'm like, maybe not. But UKG is just always so, yes, can we have UKGE every weekend? It would kill me, but,
Yes, it would kill you. I'm weighing up writing some kind of blog about my UKG, but the thing is, ultimately, what I'd be writing there about is a blog post that's like, low key, I recommend a wheelchair.
I mean, I've seen quite a few people be posting like, "Oh, here's our cost breakdowns and whatever." So I think it would be good to have that sort of perspective from yourself as well as like someone who's a bit more established in the scene.
Yeah, I think the reason I've never done like cost breakdowns on cons I've done with Laurie is because of the fact that I'm like, oh, they don't really make sense unless I'm also disclosing all of Laurie's numbers, which
Oh yeah, true
I
enough.
wouldn't want to do without talking to you about him, and I've never put so
Yeah.
much. I feel those blog like I've never put so much effort into a blog post that I have ran like a number sharing outside thing past Laurie, and I've also like but I'm maybe more on the personal side.
Yeah, the personal side, and here's what I would suggest for people, and
Yeah.
whatever, what worked and what didn't.
I think it would probably be a blog post that if I do write it, I'm like, ultimately, this would start as being about UKG, but not. It would be about how I made the decision to start using a wheelchair and how I think that's been one of the best decisions I've ever made. And how maybe some people might not think that's a decision they're able to make, but actually they can. And it would be very
Yeah.
unrelated to games.
Well, you gotta get the line baited, right?
Yeah. Do you feel like because I sometimes after cons, and I feel like I didn't have this a lot last year because of how physically destructive they all felt. But when I had more energy before, and like I feel then back after this, like after cons, I feel like I almost felt like my ideas going. Maybe it's from like explaining my own games a lot. If that experience ends with me feeling good, it means I've thought about my games a lot. I've thought about how I describe them. Other people have said stuff to me that's maybe made me think about them, and that gets me having other ideas. I don't know, do you find that?
Yeah.
Or...
No, I mean, I think I've got my pitches for our existing products down, but I was speaking with some people about the Clevic game that I've been working on, like trying to pitch it to people, see if they'd be interested in picking it up. And their suggestions for, oh, does it have such and such in it? And I was like, yeah, it should have that. Yeah, no, absolutely, it does. I've not written that, but I'm saying it does. And it's like that conversation is like a really good spur for giving you ideas. And it's just like being able to speak about your games with people really does help you work out what they need. And a good way to pitch, like not just like here's how I can sell them, but working out what the actual core of the thing is.
Yeah, I think often when you are pitching a game to someone, it makes sense to be describing it in the sort of plainest, most accessible language and stripping things down to sort of what feels like the essential parts to understand it. And I think sometimes I've written games without necessarily understanding what those end facts will be, so pitching them is a bit of a process of discovery.
Yeah.
Or they were smaller elements that I'm then like, oh no, these should be parts of how I explain the game to people, and that informs things. Like, I don't know. I remember when we did that last episode about what would I do if I do a Psycho Dungeon 2. I felt a bit stuck on it, and I think talking about Psycho Dungeon all weekend has unlocked for me. I'm like, oh yeah, I know the changes I'd make to the tokens, to clients, to how dungeon delving works. I also know what I'd do in terms of offering play sets that would expand it, both in terms of, I think, like employer play sets, like, oh, this is your thing, and that gives you different job types that lets the game bring in more. Like, I don't know, I feel I figured it out from having that kind of positive sort of energy. So I don't know, I've had a very productive day today. This is a rare evening recording, which is maybe part of why I am tired and will probably wrap this episode up soon. But Do you have any last sort of thoughts on UKGE you feel like sharing with our listenership? Oh, I enjoyed being on the Women in TTRPG panel. I think that recording will go up at some point. I showed up late. I was delayed to the Women in TTRPG panel by my boyfriend.
Damn.
No, he just there was a time
Cancelled.
confusion between us. It was fine. I got there. I think I enjoyed being on the panel. But I was sort of like, man, I really feel like I'm just like saying the first thing that comes to my head and almost coming across as loutish and inelegant. And then at the end I remembered it is being recorded and I was like, oh. All right. Yeah, I think I stand by it all, probably.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah,
That's how I feel about Game Soup, to be fair. So.
Same. Do you have any last things you want to share or highlights before we kick this episode home?
It was really good to hear from people who have played our games in the past and also who have listened to the pod in the past. I was speaking with some people on the Saturday night who like Alyssa introduced me to somebody and I was like, oh my god, from like Game Soup, and I'm like, yeah, that's me. So that was fun.
That's nice.
And I hope you're listening. Hello. So next week we are going to do our proper convention attack podcasting extravaganza. We don't have the energy for it tonight. I've had a full day of work. Give me a break.
But until then, soup is served. Bye.
Bye-bye.